He has an earned run average of 4.04. This will be his 16th game, his 15th game start. He has no complete games this year, working 84 2/3 innings, giving up 92 hits, walking only 18 while striking out 49. He's 7-10 against the Mets lifetime.
You may be surprised to notice Keith Miller leading it off and playing second base. That's because Greg Jeffries is out of the lineup with a stomach virus, the third Met to have that ailment in the last week. Batting second, Dave Magadan, the first baseman. Third baseman Howard Johnson hitting third. Darryl Strawberry, the right fielder, batting fourth, followed by Kevin McReynolds in left. Center fielder tonight, Darryl Boston. Mackie Sasser behind the plate hitting seventh. Kevin Elster, the shortstop, also stricken with that malady, that stomach virus last week. He'll hit eighth. And Ron Darling, the pitcher, batting ninth.
And the defense for the Cardinals, Guerrero at first base. Oquendo playing second base. Smith, 10-time Gold Glove winner, will be at shortstop. Pendleton will be the third baseman, top fielder in the National League at third last year. Coleman in left field. McGee in center field. McGee has made 7 errors in center field this year. And Thompson in right. The umpires for the game, Frank Pulley behind home plate. Ed Rapuano will be the umpire at first base. Gary Darling the umpire at second, and Bruce Freeman the umpire at third. And while we were doing the Kiner's Corner show, Tom O'Malley was hit by a ground ball hit off the bat of Mackie Sasser. Got him in the forehead, and he's groggy, but I believe he will be all right. There's Whitey Herzog, the manager of the St. Louis Cardinals. Cardinals 12 games out of first with a record of 29-41. They have the second worst home record of any team in the National League. And of course for the Mets, Bud Harrelson taking over for Davey Johnson. Harrelson with a record of 17-7 since taking over the Mets reins. And the first pitch of the game by Bryn Smith is in there for a call strike. Miller hitting .269, 1 home run, 5 runs batted in. Against St. Louis, he is hitting .286 in his major league career. And a good slider. Miller chases it for strike 2. Miller started the season playing center field for the Mets, but with the acquisition of Darryl Boston and the strong hitting of Mark Carrion, he has been relegated to utility duty and now playing second base. And he takes a pitch that's close, but a ball call, and it's 1-2.
Yeah, fair or not, Keith Miller had to come out of the chute in a hurry and be successful immediately to claim stakes on that center field job. Darryl Boston acquired the first week in May.
And a curveball for a ball. It's 2-2. Smith, a breaking ball pitcher with outstanding control. He has lost 3 straight decisions. In his 6 losses this year, St. Louis has scored a total of 6 runs. He lost to the Mets at Shea Stadium on June 20th. And the off-speed pitch, the palm ball, and that's his change right there. He puts that ball deep in the palm of his hands with the fingers off.
I don't put much credence in the Cardinals scoring 6 runs in his 6 losses because his earned run average is over 4. If his earned run average was around 2.8, that would be a legitimate stat. I don't think it is since his earned run average is that high.
That's sort of a cover stat to make it look like he's been pitching good baseball, but the true stat is the ERA. More true, I should say.
Sure.
His lifetime record 89-77. Last year he was 12-10 for Montreal, losing twice to the Mets last year. Picked up as a free agent by the St. Louis Cardinals. Originally signed by Baltimore, and he misses high, and Miller works out a walk after being down in the count. No balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, that's a terrific at bat by Keith Miller. The Mets have been doing that. They've been taking the right situations. They've been hitting and running. Everything is just going at a sizzling pace for this ball club. Winners of 14 of their last 16.
And that'll bring up Dave Magadan, who has been red hot. Magadan now hitting .370 on the year with 2 home runs, 19 runs batted in, 2 for 5 last night, and he got the key hit last night in the 9th inning, a double to right field, pulling the hard-throwing Lee Smith and setting it up for the Mets to score.
And that bobble in right field, I mean, uncharacteristically, the Cardinals have been beating themselves with their defense, and they're not the type of team that can come back and make that many mistakes defensively.
And the first pitch to Magadan, a fastball for ball one. Magadan has hit in 14 of his last 16 games, hitting .450 over that period. He has driven in 15 runs in those 16 games and has scored 20. Those are good numbers. He has won the first base job playing against right and left-hand pitching. And the slider for a strike in the count 1-1. High slider, good pitch to hit, but Magadan, who is a really quiet type hitter, probably a better hitter, Tim, with 2 strikes than anybody in the club.
Yeah, he's very selective, a contact hitter, contrary to the complete opposite, I should say, of Mike Marshall, who is a free swinger.
And the off-speed pitch, and it's ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike.
I think Buddy Harrelson will put Miller in motion right now. You've got a pitcher who's always around the plate for the most part, a contact hitter, speed at first, little chance of a pitch out, almost none. Cardinals can't take that chance. Sending.
And a throw to first base to check Keith Miller. Miller 10 for 10 in stolen bases. He has been perfect on the bases. Of course, a hit and run play is not like a steal. You make sure the pitcher pitches, then you go. And the off-speed pitch, and it's called a swinging strike, and Miller was not running, so it's 2-2. Todd Zeile, the catcher, has improved tremendously behind the plate in throwing. He has a strong arm. He's thrown out 7 of the last 15 that have attempted to steal.
22 of 65 for the year. This young man is going to be a fine catcher. He has all the movements behind the plate. He goes down on low pitches very well. A strong throwing arm. Good pop with the bat. Good-looking player.
And the 2-2 pitch is lined for a base hit in the right center field. Miller held for a moment, but he'll go to third. McGee throws in the second base, and the Mets have runners at first and third with no one out.
Like a good diet needs fiber, Dave Magadan has really supplied the fiber for the Mets. He might be the meat and potatoes for the offense, too. He has been getting so many big hits. We've used a comparison of Dykstra and Backman back in '86. Well, with Dave Magadan hitting as well as he has lately, it seems like every time you look up, it's a first and third situation for the Mets.
He's like that good cholesterol they talk about.
Yeah, right.
Now the batter's Howard Johnson. Howard hitting .229 with 11 home runs, 34 RBIs. Put in the third spot in the batting order with Greg Jeffries out because of the stomach virus that he is suffering. And the first pitch is called a strike. Howard has hit 7 home runs as a left-hand batter, 4 as a right-hand batter, and hitting .239 as a left-hand batter as opposed to .211 right-handed. He's been bothered by a bad shoulder, and it bothers him more when he bats on the right-hand side. Cardinals set up a double play depth. And Johnson hits a ball to deep left center field. It could drop. Over there is Coleman. He has great speed. He makes a running catch. Tagged up is the runner at third, Keith Miller. He comes in to score. Magadan was all the way down to second.
Where's Guerrero?
And Guerrero wasn't at first to take a throw from Oquendo, and Magadan gets back into first base.
That's exactly right. This ball is caught easily by Vince Coleman. Ball coming back to him. Any ball hit to left field will come back to the left fielder. Coleman gets rid of the ball in a hurry to Oquendo. And Pedro Guerrero, we've seen this happen twice, Ralph, at Shea Stadium. Look at Guerrero. Now, what is he doing right there? He should be at first place. Oquendo, a strong throw. They nail Magadan.
And now the batter is Darryl Strawberry. Guerrero wandering around like a spectator out there.
Yeah, you wonder what the guys are thinking about in situations like that. The game's tough to play. The game shouldn't be tough to think.
And Strawberry with a count of 1-0 takes again for ball 2. Strawberry bringing a 14-game hitting streak into this game, hitting .412 over the 14 games. The longest hitting streak he's ever had in his major league career. In the 14 games, he's hit 7 home runs, driven in 19. And he has his average up to .291 with 15 home runs and 41 RBIs. And a swing and a miss, and it's 2-1. Strawberry 1 for 4 in last night's ball game to extend that hitting streak. longest current hitting streak in the National League. And Strawberry swings and fouls it back out of play. The Mets in the month of June with a record of 17-6. They have won 6 of their last 7 games on the road, and they had the worst road record of any team in the National League until they hit that 6 for 7, and they're now 13 for 16 in road games. The 2-2 pitch to Strawberry, hit on the ground to Guerrero. He tries for the double play. Smith back to Guerrero, and it's a 3-6-3 double play, a fine play to end the inning. But the Mets get 1 run on 1 hit. They leave none in the score at the end of 1/2 inning. The Mets won. The St. Louis Cardinals with a record of 2-4, an earned run average of 4.84. He's walked 17, struck out 39, given up 44 hits in 44 2/3 innings. 7-5 lifetime against the St. Louis Cardinals.
Seems like the Cardinals have had the same look lineup for the last 5 years. Vince Coleman leading off, followed by Willie McGee. Pedro Guerrero batting 3rd. Todd Zeile, the catcher, hitting 4th. He's an insert, of course. Terry Pendleton hitting 5th. Milt Thompson, the right fielder, batting 6th. Ozzie Smith moved to the 7th spot. Jose Oquendo batting 8th, and Bryn Smith, the pitcher, batting 9th.
And the first pitch by Ron Darling to Vince Coleman. And the pitch, ball 1. Coleman, of course, is a speedster. He's had 20 infield hits. 8 of them have been bunt base hits. And hitting over 300. 2 for 4 in last night's ball game with a stolen base. The Mets have never thrown him out. And the pitch back, a pitch for ball 2, 2-0.
I wonder how many times Vince Coleman, going up to bat from the on-deck circle, thinks about that little strip in foul territory between home and first base. That's where that tarp rolls out from, and rolled over Vince before Game 4 of the playoffs in '85.
Missed the World Series, and that might have cost the Cardinals the World Series championship. There,
yeah,
you see the area.
Whitey Herzog said that definitely cost them the World Series that year. The championship, the World Series. Kansas City, if you remember, the Cardinals were up 3-1, and Kansas City came back and won the last 3.
2 balls, 1 strike to count to Coleman. And he bounces this one through into right field for a base hit. So Coleman does his job, gets on base, and you certainly could look for him to steal. The defense for the Mets, Magadan at first base. Miller playing second in place of Jeffries, who has a flu condition, and Elster's at shortstop, Johnson at third, McReynolds, Boston, and Strawberry in the outfield, left to right, and the catcher Sasser. Now Sasser's thrown the ball much better lately. Of the last 25 runners attempting to steal, he's thrown out 10. That's a percentage of 40%, very high. There goes Coleman. The throw is a good one, and they get him for the first time. First time the Mets have ever caught Vince Coleman. And it took a perfect throw by Sasser, and Coleman is arguing the call.
After the last game in New York at Shea, Mackey Sasser said, "I'll get him before he gets 100 in a row." And sure enough, on his 58th try, the Mets finally get Vince Coleman. And boy, was this ball right on target. Coleman did not have a good jump. I asked Vince about that, picking that right foot up. He picks that right foot up as opposed to pivoting on that right foot, and that takes time. So, I mean, here's a guy with over 500 stolen bases, and his technique still isn't down.
He hasn't learned the right way to do it.
Oh, right.
He reached that 500 mark faster than anybody in the history of the game, even faster than Ricky Henderson. And now Willie McGee with a count of 2 strikes, and that pitch a ball, so it's 1-2. McGee hitting .319, 1 home run, 32 runs batted in. He's had 14 infield hits. Cardinals are built on speed. They have 101 stolen bases, second in the National League. They're last in home runs with 31. They're 11th in batting average at .246 as a team. This ball hit to the second baseman Keith Miller, and he throws wide, and Magadan makes a good catch as McGee is out. So 2 men away, and that'll bring up Pedro Guerrero. Guerrero 0 for 4 last night. 2 big strikeouts by David Cone. If you can get Guerrero out, you got a great chance against this club. He is their power man. 46 RBIs, 8 home runs.
Well, yeah, you keep Coleman off the bases and get Guerrero out. That's really true.
And the first pitch, a breaking ball for ball 1. Guerrero was struck out twice on breaking balls. His first time up, he hit the first pitch off David Cone for a drive to deep center that was caught by Mark Carrion on the warning track. Again, the curve, and he's taking it. 1 ball, 1 strike. Guerrero hitting .294. Lifetime, he's .292 against the Mets with 18 home runs. And the fastball is fouled away. Last year, Guerrero played in 162 games. There's Buddy Harrelson working with a 1-0 lead here in the bottom of the first inning. And the fastball. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Guerrero with a lifetime batting average of .308. He's in his 13th year. And a split finger fastball gets him. So Guerrero struck out. That ends the inning. A base hit. Coleman thrown out attempting to steal for the first time in his career against the New York Mets. And the score at the end of 1. It's the Mets 1, the Cardinals nothing. Now here's a word from the Wiz. Leading by a score of 1-0 with a run in the first after a walk to Keith Miller. A base hit by Magadan to put runners at first and third with no one out. Howard Johnson with a sacrifice fly, and the Mets picked up the first run of the ball game. Here in the second, it'll be Kevin McReynolds to lead it off. McReynolds 0 for 2 in last night's ball game. Whitey Herzog walked him twice intentionally, and it worked both times as Howard Johnson hitting behind McReynolds with runners at first and second did not drive in a run. On the mound, Bryn Smith, 6-6 in the year, 0-1 against the Mets. And the palm ball for a ball, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Reynolds hitting .258 with 12 home runs, 39 RBIs. In his last 19 games, he's hit 6 home runs and driven in 16. And the pitch outside for a ball. There's Howard Johnson hitting third tonight. Drove in the first run of the game, the only run of the ball game, with that sac fly. Hit right off the end of the bat. Brent Smith knocks it down, underhands to first for the out.
I guess you could say that last shot of Howard Johnson showed him mugging for the camera. You know, that's a mug that he carries around. That's kind of like his private mug. And he carries it around and even has it out on the bench during a game. And look at the insignia on it. Batman. That's what he is, a Batman. Having a tough time now, but he's been a Batman for the last 3 years.
I wonder if Whitey Herzog will take it away from him.
He'll have a check for cork.
That's right. Now Darrell Boston, the batter. Darrell hitting .282 with 5 home runs. Driven in 19. And he fouls the next delivery off. 1 ball, 1 strike. Boston in his last 11 games has hit .342 with 1 home run, 8 runs batted in to get his average at .282. Career average against St. Louis, .250, 1 for 4. And a ball, so they count 2-1. Another one out of the strike zone. 3-1 to Darrell Boston. On deck batter Mackey Sasson. This ball hit hard to right field for a base hit. Milt Thompson over to catch it. And he throws into second base, and the Mets have a base runner. One away here in the top of the second. The Mets leading 1-0, and Mackey Sasser will be the batter.
I think one of the best ways for a fan to come to a game as far as a pitcher and a batter is concerned is to look and see the comfortable swing of a hitter when he's ahead in the count, and watch how a batter is defensive when he's behind in the count. 1-2, 0-2, you just don't realize the apprehension with that hitter. But boy, 3-1, 2-0, it's like batting practice. And if you get your pitch, you're going to hit it hard.
Which Boston did right there on the 3-1 fastball. Sasser hitting 300, and Boston going with the pitch, and the ball hit through the infield. Boston on his way to third, and Sasser on the hit and run play puts runners at first and third with 1 out.
Buddy Harrelson playing adventurous baseball. A good piece of hitting by Mackey Sasser. You saw Todd Zeile, the catcher, coming up as though he was going to throw. The only problem was the bat was in the way. It made contact on the left side. A nifty piece of base running by Boston. And you can look for a squeeze here. Buddy Harrelson will do that. Davey Johnson did not like to do that. Did not like that play, but Buddy Harrelson will.
And the batter is Kevin Elster, hitting 195, and the first pitch for ball 1. Elster with 5 home runs, 29 runs batted in, 1 for 3 last night. Chuck Hiller, the third base coach. Last night, Whitey Herzog put the squeeze on, but the ball was fouled off.
Jose Oquendo fouled it off.
This ball hit hard to right field for a base hit. Boston coasts in, and he scores. The Mets now lead at 2-0. Elster with a base hit and a run batted in. And on the play, Sasser to second. 3 hits in a row for the Mets.
That's a good piece of hitting. Mike Cubbage is trying to get Kevin Elster to keep that front shoulder closed. And the way to do that is to hit that outside pitch to right field. That closes the shoulder. What comes first? Your shoulder being closed or hitting to right? Whatever it is, good piece of hitting by Elster.
So runners at first and second with Ron Darling coming up, and they're looking for the sacrifice. Darling squares, bunts it down the third base side. It's foul. Darling with 2 hits and 11 at bats.
A situation like this, if you're the pitcher, you do not break toward home. Once you throw the ball, you break right toward the third base line. Terry Pendleton out to talk to Bryn Smith. The reason for that is the first baseman's going to cover everything to your left. So you break right for the third base line. Don't break home.
In the bullpen, Ricky Horton starting to throw early in this game. Cardinals use the wheel play or the rotation play. They don't put it on that time, and Darling takes for a ball, 1 ball, 1 strike. Last night, the Cardinals tried to put the wheel play on. Cone hit away, and that stopped them. Defense against that rotation play with the shortstop covering third, second baseman covering first, is either to take the pitch or to swing away or bunt it hard because there's just nobody out there. The only defensive position would be the pitcher. And Darling swings away, and the ball fouled away, so it's 1-2. Darling a good hitting pitcher, so Buddy Harrelson taking the chance that he might come through with a big hit for an RBI.
All of the Mets pitchers but Viola really handle the bat well, and it's tough to get comfortable and predictable if you're on defense. If you don't handle the bat well, you can put that rotation play on, but not if you're a good hitter like Darling and Cone and Fernandez, Gooden.
This time with a 1-2 count, the ball is bunted and bunted foul, so Darling is a strikeout victim. You're watching Mets Baseball 90 on WWOR, Secaucus, New Jersey.
Buddy Harrelson looking at Ron Darling, and the way he was looking at him and the way they're talking back and forth, I got to believe Ronnie missed the sign. Buddy's just quizzing him.
Sure looks that way, doesn't it?
Yeah,
he had him hitting away. So now the batter is Keith Miller with 2 men out. He gets a curveball for strike one. Miller walked in a 3-2 pitch his first time up.
Players don't mind being questioned by the manager. They don't like being shown up by the manager, and a manager doesn't like being shown up by a pitcher or a player. Yeah, I got to believe he missed a sign.
Too much conversation for that not to have been the case.
I don't know what
now
Keith Miller was
got
thinking.
A bunt there, and he's got the drive in the run.
You know, we talked about it when Guerrero was out in the middle of the infield. If Keith just thought about how bad a play that is with 2 out and 2 on, you don't bunt to get the runner. You know, that's leaving it up to the next guy.
That's moving the responsibility on, and the curveball there.
That's well put.
And it's 1-2 to Keith Miller. So the Mets leading 2-0. Runners at first and second, 2 men out. We're in the top of the second, and the palm ball gets him. So the strikeout ends the inning, but the Mets pick up 1. They had 3 hits. They leave 2, and the score at the end of 1.5 innings. The Mets 2, and the Cardinals nothing. Now here's a word from Hessel. And Darling's first pitch hit hard and off of the glove of Kevin Elster. You don't see that happen very often. And we'll see how they score it.
It's being scored an error. I think that's a legitimate error. I think, Kevin, this ball is scorched. I mean, it is hit as hard as you can hit a ball. I'm surprised the umpire didn't get out of the way of that ball. Second base umpire Gary Darling is just sitting there watching. I mean, that ball caroms the other way. It might plunk him right in the coconut. Gary, come on, baby.
And that brings up Terry Pendleton. Pendleton 2 for 4 in last night's ball game. Batting .252 for the year with 5 home runs, and he has 42 RBIs. He takes the first pitch for ball 1. Pendleton in the month of June with 21 runs batted in. And a strike call by home plate umpire Frank Pulley. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ron Darling making his 7th start of the year, and the pitch is a fastball high. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Been 13 days since Ronnie has started. 1 relief appearance on the 16th of June, sandwiched in between those 2 starts. He's handled it very well. It's been a tough year for Ronnie. He started out his first 5 of 6 games as a starter.
And this pitch grounded foul, so the count 2-2.
Bobby Ojeda in the bullpen to start the season off, and then Davy Johnson switched to 2, and Darling went to the bullpen. Didn't get his next start until June 13th.
Darling had made only 1 relief appearance until this year. And that was in a very unusual ball game.
This year he's made 6 already.
This ball hit hard in the hole for a base hit. Strawberry gets to it and stops Todd Zeile at second, so runners at first and second with no one out. And that'll bring up Milt Thompson.
This is just good hitting by Pendleton. The ball out of the strike zone down, and sometimes you just got to tip your hat to the hitter. Look at the height of that ball. That ball's below the knees. Good hitting by Terry Pendleton.
Dave Magadan talking with Keith Miller at second base. Magadan looked like he wanted to find out whether he should play for the bunt, but they should not be bunting in this spot.
Now for the bottom of the order.
Mets leading 2-0. Magadan is in looking for a possible sacrifice. And the first pitch to Milt Thompson is taken for Strike one. You got Ozzie Smith, Jose Oquendo, and the pitcher, Bryn Smith, coming up after Thompson. None of them are power hitters to speak of in any way. Now he's back of the runner at first. They finally recognize that. And a throw on at second. Close play as Elster comes over, and Zeile just does get back.
The daylight play. Whenever a pitcher sees daylight between the shortstop and the base runner, he wheels and throws. And that was close. The throw was a little high. A quick tag applied by Elster, but look at the throw. It's high. Now the quick tag. He's out. Oh, man.
He
was
really
out.
Yes, sir.
What a quick tag. And Elster continues to argue with Gary Darling, and he had a good argument.
There's no doubt about it.
He is out. I thought Zeile was back in there with the naked eye.
That's a bad call and a bad break for the New York Mets. And this ball topped out to the first baseman Magadan. He throws to Darling, covering at first base for the out there, and the runners move up. Magadan really didn't have a play at second. He thought about it, but the runner was in his way, and he really couldn't clear the runner. He wanted to make sure that he got one out.
He made the right play. As a matter of fact, looking at second almost cost him a chance for first.
So runners at second and third with one out, and Ozzie Smith the batter. Ozzie hitting .224. He has no home runs, 21 runs batted in. Tough man to strike out. He's averaged one strikeout every 16 at bats. The Mets have their infield back, with the exception of Johnson at third. Mets leading 2-0, so the time run is at second, and the first pitch a good curve for strike one. Ozzie 0 for 3 in last night's ball game. And he fouls off a fastball way behind that pitch, and it's strike two.
Don't get around much anymore.
Wow.
Some of those quirky things we used to come up with in the dugout, and that was one of them for a guy who didn't get around. I mean, Ozzie almost hit that ball out of Mackie Sasser's glove.
That was a Linda Ronstadt. Blue Bayou. Ozzie Smith, the leading vote getter in the fans balloting for the National League All-Star shortstop.
Until tonight, new votes are in. Ryan Sandberg leads all National League All-Stars.
He has just been unreal. I believe he hit his 22nd home run today.
He did. Well, the Cubs lost to the Expos 6-5, but Sandberg with his 22nd. No second baseman has ever hit 30 home runs 2 years in a row, and he'll do it this year unless he gets injured.
And it gets by Sasser, and a run will score.
Oh, that hurt.
So Todd Zeile, who actually was picked off at second but called safe, comes in to score from third on the wild pitch. It was a split finger fastball.
That hurts the Mets' cause right here. And this ball's in the dirt, but that ball's got to be handled. Mackey looked like he got his glove messed up. He does not go down on it quickly enough, as you can see. And that is a skate save, but a wild pitch. That ball's got to be handled.
First wild pitch by Darling this year. They count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Now the infield is in for a play at the plate with Pendleton over at third.
You might be sitting at home and saying, what do you mean that ball's got to be handled? It was in the dirt. But any ball that's in the dirt behind home plate, a catcher kicks himself when he doesn't handle it. If it's on the plate or in front of the plate, that's a different story. But that ball really, I mean, that ball almost could have been caught in the air.
Now the pitch, and it is strike 3. No, it isn't. It looked like the home plate umpire punched him out. And then he went to the third base umpire. Frank Pulley evidently did watch the home plate umpire. He made the move.
That was Looked to me like he did, too. That's why they call him Pulley, though. He pulled the strike back.
Oops.
I guess.
Now Smith takes the next delivery and walks. That puts runners at first and third. Still one man out and brings up Jose Oquendo. Now last night Oquendo at the plate attempted to squeeze a runner in and fouled the ball off. Oquendo, a very good bunter. Behind Oquendo, the pitcher Bryn Smith, but Smith not too bad a hitter. He's had 6 hits and 24 at bats. And a toss over to first. And the first pitch to Oquendo taken outside for ball 1. Oquendo hitting .233 in the year with no home runs, 18 runs batted in. Had a fabulous year last year.
Played in 163 games. He has played now in the last 234 of 235 that the Cardinals have played.
This ball hit foul into the stands. The season's 162 games officially. He played in 163 and missed 1 game.
Yeah. Cardinals played 2 games that went past 5 innings and they were tied. They're counted as games. All the averages count, but you got to play it again. Kind of weird.
It is. You say, how could he play in 162 games and miss 1? Another thrower to first base. Smith has had 16 stolen bases in 18 attempts.
Yeah, but he's really nursing a strained ligament in his right knee. Told me before the game it's been hurting him for 2 weeks.
I know Oquendo chops it out into right field for a base hit. Terry Pendleton scores. Smith goes to third, and it's a tie ball game at 2.
That's the second hit this inning over the head of David Magadan. Not that Magadan could do anything about it, but so those high choppers almost in the same spot. Pendleton and now Oquendo, RBI number 19 on the year. And you can look for a squeeze sometime here with Smith up.
Smith with 6 hits and 24 at bats. He's driven in 2, but batting in an ideal squeeze situation here. The Mets have Johnson even with a bag at third. Second baseman and shortstop are not quite at full double play depth, and the pitch to the plate a called strike. And now Smith not sure what he's supposed to do, so he talks it over with Rich Hacker.
Tell you, that wild pitch really hurt. Because if Magadan's not holding Smith on, even if Smith walks, you're playing straight away with the bases loaded. And now you're going to get 1 out. That wild pitch really set up some things.
Now it's a straight sacrifice. The bunt is out to Darting. He holds the runner at third, picks up the out at first, and moving down to second on the sacrifice is Smith.
I don't like that
it's
play.
Oquendo.
I don't like that play.
That's a give-up play right there for a sacrifice to move the runner into scoring position.
With nobody out, it would be different. But maybe Smith was trying to get the ball down the third baseline. Had he gotten the ball down the third baseline, then Howard Johnson would have come in, thrown to first, and Smith walks home. I'm really surprised more teams don't do that. That straight sacrifice, first and third and 1 out, doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
So now runners at second and third and 2 out, and Vince Coleman the batter. Vince with a single his first time up. And Darling's first pitch is high for ball 1. Coleman, after his single, was thrown out attempting to steal, the first time the Mets have ever thrown him out in his major league career. He had been 57 for 57 against the Mets. The 1-0 pitch. And it's ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Darling thought he had a strike there. Nothing for Coleman to do but hit away in this position. And the 2-0 pitch is a fastball for a strike, and it's 2-1. Darling trying to work out of this jam. Tie ball game at 2. Runners at second and third. 2 men out. We're in the bottom half of the second inning. All started on an error. And this one hit right back to Darling. He takes it over to first, then tosses it. That ends the inning. But the Cardinals tied 2 runs on 2 hits, 1 error, and 2 men left on base. And the score at the end of 2. The Cardinals 2 and the Mets 2. Now here's a word from the New Jersey Bell Yellow Pages. Contributed to a run for the New York Mets. As we go here in the top of the third, tie ball game at 2. And the pitch is taken for a ball, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Magadan hitting .300 against the St. Louis Cardinals in his major league career. And that pitch by Bryn Smith is taken for ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike. Mets have 2 runs on 4 hits. The Cardinals have 2 runs on 3, and one of the runs by the Cardinals unearned. And Magadan looks again for ball 3. 3 balls and 1 strike. Magadan 2 for 5 in last night's ball game. And it's ball 4. So Smith has walked his second man in this game. That's uncharacteristic of him. And it brings up Howard Johnson.
Take a look at the Nissan National League scoreboard. Montreal over Chicago. They're in a virtual tie with the Pirates as it stands right now. Of course, depending on what Pittsburgh does. Pittsburgh tied with the Phillies in the 8th inning. 2-1 San Francisco over Cincinnati. Boy, is Cincinnati with the best record in baseball been hot. 2-1 in the 6th. 3-1 Atlanta over LA in the 7th. And in the bottom of the 3rd, San Diego over Houston 1-0.
And right here a 2-2 ball game with Howard Johnson in the batter's box. Magadan a short lead at first, and the first pitch to Johnson taken outside for ball 1. Johnson drove in the Mets' first run with a sacrifice fly to left field.
Why do first basemen in the National League continue to hold Dave Magadan on at first base? It's not going anywhere.
Left-hand batter.
Yeah, right. Left-handed pull hitter.
Guerrero holding against Magadan, who takes about a 2-step lead and has not had a stolen base this year. His only stolen base in his major league career on the backhand of a double steal. A 1-0 pitch, and it's topped out to the third base side. Pendleton goes to second to pick up the force play. An unnecessary throw by Oquendo. They had no chance for the double play. And 1 away.
Take a look at the Nissan American League scoreboard. Milwaukee at the stadium, 2-2 in the 5th inning. Look at Toronto. Boston beating Toronto again. Going into last night's game, Toronto had won 15 straight at Fenway over 2 years. Cleveland at Baltimore, 2-2 in the 5th. 1-1 Texas at Minnesota. And later on this evening out on the coast, Detroit at Oakland, Chicago at California, and Kansas City at Seattle.
And the batter for the Mets, Darryl Strawberry. Darryl hit into a double play his first time up, and he takes the first pitch for ball 1. Darryl with a 14-game hitting streak. Batting .412 over the 14 games with 7 home runs, 19 runs batted in. And a swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike to count. Mets have not had an extra base hit so far in this game. They have played only 1 game this season without an extra base hit. There goes the runner, and the pitch is taken. The throw by Zeile in the dirt. And Johnson with a stolen base.
Ojo picked the right pitch on which to run, a slow curveball. And because it takes more time to get to the catcher, that gives that runner more time to get to second base. Strong throw, even though it was low by Zeile, but there's no way to get Johnson on that particular type of pitch.
So a runner at second with one man out. Stolen base by Johnson, his 12th of the year in 15 attempts. And this ball hit hard to right field, a base hit. Johnson might not be able to score. They're waving him in. The throw by Milt Thompson is way offline, and now the throw back to first base is in time as Strawberry is out. But on the base hit by Strawberry extends his hitting streak to 15, and he drives in a go-ahead run.
And bad base running on Strawberry's part, good hitting. And he has hit now in 15 in a row, but he's indecisive rounding first. This throw way up the line. You either stay at first or you go to second. You don't get caught in between. And Todd Zeile, now there's the indecision right here. Are you going to go or are you stopping? Now he's dead. Hung out to dry right there.
And the batter is Kevin McReynolds. He takes the first pitch, strike one. Milt Thompson with a terrible throw right there. Had a shot at getting Howard Johnson.
That's why Darrell should have gone to second. Once that throw's over the cutoff man, you make him cut it off. And if you make him cut it off, then you traded an out for a run.
One of the good plays in baseball, trying to get that run in when you need it badly, is to make that cutoff man cut the ball off. In this case, it was way offline, no chance to cut it off.
RBI number 42 for Darrell on the year.
And this pitch in the dirt, so they count 1-2 on Kevin McReynolds. McReynolds hit a little slider off the end of the bat, grounded out his first time up, right back to the pitcher. And it's hit again off the end of the bat, this time to the shortstop, Ozzie Smith. The throw retires aside. But the Mets regain the lead on a base hit. And they leave none. The score at the end of 2.5 innings. The Mets 3.
$6 plus 2 Tropicana Pure Premium 64-ounce carton proofs of purchase to Tropicana Team Mets Club, Post Office Box 4777, Trenton, New Jersey 08650. Include your name, address, telephone number, and allow 6 to 8 weeks for delivery.
And for the St. Louis Cardinals, it'll be Willie McGee to lead it off here in the third. And first pitch by Ron Darling in the dirt for ball one. McGee grounded down his first time up. Mets leading 3-2. They led 1-0, then 2-0, but the Cardinals tied it in the second at 2. The Mets regained the lead in the top of the third. Ground ball hit to Keith Miller, the throw to first base for the out. Well, Howard Johnson just stole the base in the top of the third, and Mary Slagler is now in the drawing for a new Nissan 300ZX. She entered the Nissan stolen base game at her participating Nissan dealer. Why don't you? So Pedro Guerrero will be the batter. Guerrero was struck out the split-finger fastball his first time up. And he gets a fastball there and rips it into left field for a base hit. So the base hit puts a runner at first, representing the tying run with one out here in the bottom half of the third. Fourth hit for St. Louis off Ron Darling. It brings up Todd Zeile. Zeile's safe on an error off a line drive. The glove deflecting off the ball deflecting off the glove of Kevin Elster, and then picked off at second. And on the replay, it looked like he certainly was out, but he was called safe. Later on, he came in to score on a wild pitch to score the first run for St. Louis. St. Louis with one earned run, one unearned. And the first pitch, a curveball. Strike one.
I'd like to have a name like Zeile. It's a nice, energetic name.
How does he put it? The guy that does Behrman, who does the Todd, good housekeeping zeal.
He has the zeal of approval of Whitey Herzog, right?
Oh, he's got a lot of potential. There's no doubt about it. I was talking to him before the ball game. I said it's only 120 in Rancho Mirage. He makes his home in the small Palm Springs area. He says, I'm glad I'm here, he said.
Yeah, nice, cool St. Louis, right.
It's all relative. Who's relative, huh? 2-1 the count. Zeile with 3 hits and 17 at-bats against the Mets in his major league career. Hot, humid night here in St. Louis. Just the way we like it. And the fastball for ball 3, 3 balls and 1 strike. Mets leading 3-2, and the 3-1 pitch called ball 4. So that puts runners at first and second on Darling's second walk, and it brings up Terry Pendleton. Pendleton singled his first time up.
Frank Viola will be going against Joe McGrain as the Cardinals and Mets in the 3-game series tomorrow night. Then the Mets back home for 4 this weekend against the Reds, Thursday through Sunday.
Time is called as Pendleton asks home plate umpire Frank Pulley for time.
4 great games there should be this weekend. Jose Rio against Doc Gooden on Thursday. Rick Mailer against Bobby Ojeda Friday night. Saturday afternoon, Jack Armstrong and David Cone go at each other. And then Danny Jackson, I beg your pardon, going probably against Sid Fernandez. They're going to see how Sid has already missed 1 turn, a little strained shoulder. That's one of the reasons Darling is starting tonight, because of the turn that Fernandez has missed.
It has not been easy for Ron Darling here tonight. He's given up a hit in every inning. Now working to Terry Pendleton. And this ball grounded foul. So a 1-strike count to Pendleton, the switch hitter. Pendleton has a left-hand batter hitting .269. Right-hand batter .226. Cardinals with 11 players that they have to sign. They're all in their walk year. Going to have to make a lot more Budweiser to sign all those 11 players.
Well, of course, some of them have injuries and everything. Danny Cox, one of them, but a guy like Pendleton is a very valuable player to the Cardinals. They're going to have to make up their mind, or their minds, about 11 players of their 25.
Good fastball. Strike 2.
Willie McGee. Another one. After the split finger, a good fastball on the outside corner.
Darling is not a hard thrower. There's Willie McGee, who will be up for either free agency or negotiations for a long-term contract. Darling rarely clocked over 84, 85 miles an hour, and he comes back with a fastball hit down the line. That'll tie it up, maybe more. Coming in to score is Guerrero. Zeile being waved in. The throw will not be in time, and the Cardinals take the lead by a score of 4-3 as Pendleton doubles in 2.
He has been hot. You put the children on the bases, and Terry can pick them up. This might be an error on Kevin McReynolds for dropping the ball. Rich Hacker, the third base coach, was going to stop Todd Zeile at third. He saw McReynolds drop the ball. This ball right by a diving Howard Johnson. Oh, Joe, a nice try. But because McReynolds dropped the ball, Zeile was waved home. No error given, but it really should be an error on Kevin McReynolds.
That brings up Milt Thompson, and Thompson takes the first pitch for strike one. There is no action going in either bullpen.
Here's that play with McReynolds. The ball hits the heel of the glove. Now watch here. He dropped the ball, and that allowed Zeile to score.
And the pitch back by Darling, taken outside and low. It's 1 ball and 1 strike.
That's why if you're at a ball game and you look at the third base coach, he has a tough time deciding whether to send the runner until he sees what the outfielder's going to do. There's Rich Hacker. If he sees that outfield bobble the ball, then that outfielder bobble the ball, then he'll send the runner. That's what he did with Zeile.
Pitch back, fouled back. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Thompson hitting .201 on the year with 4 home runs, 18 runs batted in. Last year, a fine year for the Cardinals. Played a lot of center field. Did a fine job out there replacing Willie McGee, who was hurt. And he fouls another. Thompson hit .290 last year with 68 runs batted in. One ball, 2 strikes. Darling tries again and gets a ground ball that's hit deep in the hole. No chance for a play by Elster. Thompson flies.
Howard Johnson, he's got to be running around in circles over there. Pendleton hits one by him to his right and now one to his left. Hojo's got to be saying, wait a minute. Little C&I base hit. You're seeing where I'm playing and then hitting it someplace else. Pendleton's ball's to his right and Thompson's infield hit to his left.
And that'll bring up Ozzie Smith, who walked in the 3-2 pitch his first time up. Sixth base hit off Ron Darling. Cardinals now leading 4-3, and action starting up in the bullpen for the Mets.
Looks like Wally Whitehurst up for New York.
And the split finger fastball, strike one, and Wally Whitehurst is up. 1 man out. We're in the bottom half of the 3rd inning. The Cardinals with 2 runs in. Runners at first and second with Ozzie Smith at the plate. And another one swung on and fouled, so the count is strike 2.
Ronnie had 0-2 to Pendleton, 0-2 to Thompson. They both got hits, and now it's 0-2 to Ozzie Smith.
And the pitch taken high, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ozzie has always been very difficult to strike out. He gets a bat on the ball and slaps it around. The 1-2 pitch. Curveball, and he got him looking. So Ozzie Smith called out on strikes.
Wrinkles are not too nice for middle age, but they're certainly nice for a pitcher. And that was a nice little wrinkle that Darling put into that pitch. That little curveball on the end, kind of burying the eye level of Ozzie Smith. He had the split finger, then the fastball high, and then the little curveball.
Now the batter, Jose Oquendo, and he takes high for ball 1. Oquendo with a base hit. The drive and a run in the second. Oquendo signed by the Mets at the age of 15. And he hits a hard smash at Miller, and Miller fights it off, comes up with it. And again, a bad throw. Again, it's Magadan who saves him in there. That ends the as the designated Bud batter. Stay tuned until the end of the game for the results. And coming in here for the results of this ball game, Tim McCarver.
All right, Ralph. We are in the top of the 7th inning. The Mets have scored in every inning but the 5th. They lead 6-4. And Howard Johnson leads it off here in the 7th inning. Mets scoring 1 in each of the first 4 rounds. They scored 2 in the 6th. The Cardinals with 2 in the 2nd and 2 in the 3rd. Ron Darling going 5 innings, giving up 4 runs, 3 of which were earned. Hojo 0 for 2 on the night, but he does have an RBI and a run score. Strike 1 from Frank DePino. Fouled away. So Johnson in the hole. No balls, 2 strikes. Pittsburgh and Montreal have won their games. So the Mets are technically 2.5 back. A lot tougher to leapfrog over 2 teams than 1 team. That Montreal club losing 6 pitchers, 3 by the free agency route, 3 in the Langston trade, and still not only contending but doing well. They've got Grissom and DePino or DeShields out. Both of them are out.
They've had a lot of people on the DL.
Yeah.
Tim Burke is still on the DL. He's out of action because of a fracture of his leg. They've still been able to do it.
Dave Dombrowski, the general manager, Buck Rogers, their manager, doing a miraculous job with that ball club. Inside to Johnson, 2-2 to Hojo. Montreal beating Chicago 6-5. Sandberg with another home run in that game, 22 on the year, and Pittsburgh scoring a run in the 8th inning to beat the Phillies tonight at 3 Rivers 1-0. That's 5 in a row now lost by the Phillies. Tapper foul. Still 2-2 to Howard Johnson.
The only division without a parent race is the National League West. Cincinnati leading San Diego by 10, San Francisco by 10, and the Dodgers by 10.5 coming in.
Johnson down on strikes. A slider down and in gets Hojo. That's strikeout number 2 for DePino. Since we're talking about scores, what do you think about the Nissan scoreboard?
Let's look at it right now. Montreal came from behind to defeat the Cubs 6-5. Pittsburgh 1-0 over the Phillies. San Francisco 2, Cincinnati 2 in the 12th. Atlanta beat the Dodgers 4-2, and San Diego 6-0 over Houston. That game in the top of the 7th.
Darryl Strawberry is 2 for 3 with an RBI, and he takes a slider low and away. I guess the big question is whether the Mets are going to sign Darryl Strawberry. We talked about the walk years, yeah, that's right, of the Cardinals. 11 Cardinals of Darryl Strawberry, the most prominent name on his walk year for the Mets. Jose Canseco is said to have agreed to terms. That is not official. Don't know, but
we're talking about $5 million a year.
Usually when you back up the truck, you're talking about getting rid of players. They backed up the Brinks truck for Canseco, if that rumor is true. 2 balls and a strike to Strawberry.
He says, when they said, is it true, $5 million a year for several years? He said, why not?
I'd say why not 2 if they were talking about it. 2-1 to Strawberry. 1 out, 6-4 Mets here in the 7th. Ball 3. 3 balls and a strike to Darryl Strawberry.
He also was talking about them bringing the fences in closer in Oakland. He says, I could be a 50-50 man if they'd bring those fences in. I always thought that was a pretty good hitter's park.
No, it's a tough hitter's park out there. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, from what the Oakland players say, it's a Real tough course. You got those big, strong guys like McGuire and Canseco. They hit him out of Yellowstone.
And checking out the Nissan American League scoreboard, the Yankees defeated Milwaukee 8-2. And Boston has now made it 2 in a row at home against Toronto. They had lost 15 straight games to Toronto at Fenway Park. And Boston now with a 1.5 lead over Toronto. Cleveland 5, Baltimore 3. That's a final. Minnesota 5, Texas 4 a final. Detroit 1, Oakland 1, top of the second, no score. Chicago and California just getting underway. 2-0 Kansas City over Seattle, top of the second.
Strawberry at first. McReynolds takes ball 1. Nice play by Todd Zeile. It's a ball and no strikes to McReynolds. Mets on top 6-4. Each team with 9 hits. The Mets have made the only error in the game. That one made by Kevin Elster back in the second inning. One and one. St. Louis Cardinals with their storied past. They were named the Cardinals back in 1882. Took them 44 years before they won their first pennant. 1926. Foul back. 2-2 to McReynolds. Since 1926, only the Dodgers have won more pennants. The Dodgers have won 16, the Cardinals 15. The Los Angeles Dodgers 7, the Brooklyn Dodgers 9. That's how they divided those 16 pennants. 2-2 to McReynolds. Line drive, base hit, left field line. Strawberry will round third and stop. I've always been fascinated with the different ways of third base coaches. When a ball's hit down the left field line, they stop the runner right there. If it's hit down the right field line, you'll see the third base coach go about halfway toward home.
This ball hit hard into the corner. Coleman plays it off the fence and hustles it back in. Strawberry held up, and rightfully so.
See the third base coach right there? The reason for that, the proximity of the throw. If the throw's coming from the right side, it's very difficult for an infielder to think fast enough and throw all the way across the diamond behind the runner who's making the turn at third. But from left field, it's just a little short push. Boston takes strike 1. The Mets with runners at second and third, 1 out here in the 7th. Infield in for the Cardinals. Mets trying to blow it open. Fouled away, so Boston in the hole. No balls, 2 strikes to Darrell.
Interesting thing right here, you might be saying, what about carry-on pinch hitting here? But the Mets are leading 6-4. They don't have to push in this spot. And they have to think about later on when the Cardinals, if they did tie the ball game up, to have somebody on the bench.
Plus, you have better defense with Boston.
See Tim Tuffle with a bat. He had the flu yesterday.
Low, ball 1, a ball and 2 strikes to Darrell Boston. By the way, Tom O'Malley, who was hit in the head in batting practice, is fine. He will spend the night at Jewish Hospital here in St. Louis at the suggestion of Stan London, the Cardinals team physician, staying overnight for observation. Hit in the head by a hard ground ball in batting practice, but Tom's okay. Fouled away, still 1-2 to Boston.
Sasser was hitting the ball O'Malley was taking fungos from one of the coaches and didn't see the ground ball hit to him, and it hit him on the top of the forehead. He walked off the field under his own power, and fortunately no problem as it stands right now.
Still 1-2 to Boston. 2 on, 1 out. Mets on top. And Boston down on strikes. A wicked slider from DePino gets Darryl Boston. There are now 2 outs, and the batter coming up, Mackey Sasser.
Well, the Mets needed contact right here, but the ball foul tipped into the glove of Zeile, who held on to it. And now it will be up to Mackey Sasser.
Mackey 2 for 3. The Mets with 10 hits now. One of the highlight hits that tied it in the 4th inning, an inside the park home run by Kevin Elster. The first since Darryl Strawberry had an inside the park home run in this ballpark. We believe that year was 1984. We're not sure.
Even Bud Harrelson can claim an inside the park home run. I remember the one he hit. It was at Forbes Field in Pittsburgh. Al Luplo was a right fielder. He thought the ball hit foul and didn't chase it.
Ground ball right side, and DePino should be out of it, and is. As Sasser grounds out, the Mets fail to score. Still 6-4 New York after 6.5 on our GE line score. Receive a blue ribbon as a sign as they enter the ballpark, as a sign of the commitment to unity, racial unity in New York City. Remember Racial Unity Day at Shea, Tuesday, July 3rd. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning. Jeff Ennis, the 3rd Met pitcher. Ron Darling went 5 innings. Jeff Musselman came in. He went 2/3. And Ennis finished off Pedro Guerrero. A great confrontation. As you take a look at the inspirational leader of the Cardinals, Fred Bird. Now, I'm not against mascots. You know that, Ron.
I know that.
You know that. I like mascots. But I have a tough time with Fred Bird. He's always like a beat behind. You know what I mean? There he is. Now, is that an inspiration? I'll let you be the judge.
Don't ask me. I don't. I'm with you. I think the uniform is what really is a handicap. It doesn't have anything going for it.
But he does have nice legs, right?
No. They put you in a slump.
Those are bird legs.
They are all of that.
This one ripped down the left field line, foul by Todd Zeile. 1-1 to Todd. Our pal Fred Bird. Fred Bird should have his own show for insomniacs. Have no problem sleeping with Fred Bird around. Now those are some weak pins right there, folks. Slider misses. 2 balls and a strike to Zeile.
When they moved the St. Louis Cardinal football team out of here,
they failed to take Fred Bird with them.
No, Fred Bird got more endorsements than the players did. So
I heard about that. 2-1 to Todd Zeile. Tapped off the instep of Todd. 2-2.
Kids love it.
Well, there are a lot of kids in the stadium, and there are only 5 around Fred Bird. Curve popped up in the infield. Miller, Elster converging. It's Kevin Elster who makes the catch. 1 out here in the 7th inning. Terry Pendleton now. Terry, a good night. 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs. He has singled and doubled. Also scored a run. 6-4. Mets on top here in the 7th inning. Fouled away. Tell you, Jeff Ennis is a different looking pitcher since having his success in Tidewater.
Oh, he had a great short term down there. You know, he took some lessons on how to throw the knuckleball, but he hasn't thrown one here.
He is a very, very funny man. Emulates Robin Leach to perfection. Slider, and there's that different pitch. That's the hard breaking ball that Pendleton couldn't handle. 0-2.
He gets down under there and then makes that flip, and the ball actually looks like it's coming up.
Little boomerang, huh, from down under?
Yeah. He worked on that knuckleball with Joe Niekro.
Way outside, 1-2 to Pendleton. Way outside, 2-2 to Terry Pendleton, the Cardinals' third baseman. 6-4 New York here in the bottom of the 7th with 1 out and nobody on. Curve, foul back, still 2-2. Short road trip concludes tomorrow night. Frank Viola against Joe McGrain. And then the Mets head back to Shea this weekend. Jose Rijo against Dwight Gooden on Thursday night. The Cincinnati Reds will be in town. 7:35 on Thursday and Friday. 7:05 Saturday night. And a 1:35 game on Sunday. This ball hit deep to left field. McReynolds is over, and it's a foul ball. Short hopping the fence. So a long strike keeps Pendleton alive. Still 2-2 as Tom Niedenfuhr is up and throwing for the Cardinals.
Bud Harrelson taking over the reins against Cincinnati in Cincinnati and losing his first game 2-1 to the Reds. Then he went to Philadelphia and lost 2 out of 3 there. But then he came to Shea Stadium, lost the first game to the Pirates, and then it all started.
Buddy losing his first 4 out of 5, but since that time he has won 16 of 19. 3-2 to Pendleton. Pendleton jammed. We mentioned Jeff Ennis's impersonation of Robin Leach. He also does Frank Cashin too. I can say that now because Frank's in Ireland.
The report will get to it.
Frank and his wife Jean over in Ireland on the Budweiser trip. Nice trip for about 2 weeks. The Irish Derby taking place over there. Frank, a big horse fan. Well, what an at-bat by Terry Pendleton, fouling off one tough pitch after another and finally rips one to center. So Pendleton with his 3rd hit of the night, the 10th for the Cardinals, and that'll bring up Milt Thompson, the right fielder.
Single, a double, a strikeout, and now the single as he rips it into center field.
You wonder who gets Pendleton out. Every time we see him, he gets 2 or 3 hits a game.
Of course, you always remember that home run he hit against Roger McDowell.
September 11th, 1987. Alejandro Pena now up and throwing for the Mets as Thompson takes a fastball inside. And a balk is called on Jeff Ennis. the second balk of the game. The first one netted the Mets a run when Frank DiPino balked when he entered the game in the 6th inning.
Well, they claim he didn't stop. He usually pauses considerably longer than that, so the difference is what made the determination of the balk. Got to do the same thing.
Which he did. So that's ball 1. The first ball did not count. And as Ralph said earlier, had Thompson put the ball in play for a hit, the Cardinals would have taken that. So it's a ball and no strikes. 1 out, 6-4 Mets. Pendleton at second. Tapper up the middle, tough play. Miller, and he can't make it. So Thompson with an infield hit, and as importantly, Pendleton going to third, clears second base. And Thompson could steal it. We'll see what happens.
Miller makes a good play to get over there. Keeps it from going on through, and then he makes the throw to first. It's not strong enough and not in time either. So it's an infield base hit, and now St. Louis with a time run at first with 1 out, and Ozzie Smith about it.
Infield, of course, in double play depth. Ozzie on the night is 0 for 1. He has walked twice, once intentionally, and he has struck out. Thompson has 1 stolen base. He'll probably take off again, and if he does and makes it, the potential tying run will be in scoring position. And there he goes. Fastball, fly ball to Boston in center. Pendleton tagging the throw home, not in time. So a sacrifice fly by Ozzie Smith, his 22nd RBI of the year. And the Mets may have caught a break there because Thompson had second base stolen.
Well, Smith doesn't have much power. This ball not hit too deep. Runner going with a pitch. Boston comes up. Does not make a strong throw home. Pendleton scores easily. Ball cut off by Magadan. And now the time run is at first in a 1-run ball game.
So if Thompson ran first pitch and was pushed back to first because of the fly, we'll see if he is running. Ennis does not have a good move, nor does he have a quick delivery. Dennis Walling is going to be the pinch hitter for the Cardinals. And he takes strike 1. It's a different situation here because if Thompson tries to steal and is thrown out, then you lose Walling as a pinch hitter unless you put him in the game. He's 6 for 24 as a pinch hitter on the year. And Whitey Herzog, first trip seeing the Mets, first trip in here, and not a lot of excitement. Cardinals 12.5 back. No balls, 1 strike to Dennis Walling. There goes Thompson. Fastball is outside. The throw is high, and Thompson with his second stolen base of the night.
Well, it's just no contest. The throw by Sasser is high this time. Thompson getting the good jump off the pitcher. Good play on it by Elster to keep it in the infield.
Third stolen base for the Cardinals tonight. But Sasser has thrown out Vince Coleman for the first time the Mets have ever caught Coleman. And he also got Tim Jones back in the 4th inning. 2 balls and a strike to Dennis Walling, who is a fastball hitter. Fastball is outside, 3-1. See Sasser pointing to his head with first base open and Hudler due up next. We'll see if Walling gets a breaking ball here. Looks like a fastball away. And it's outside. So Walling draws a base on balls, and that's indeed going to bring up Rex Hudler. Franco worked in last night's game. He worked an inning, and Buddy Harrelson probably thinking it's too early to bring in Franco. It's only the 7th inning, of course. Franco has not worked more than 2 innings all year long. Ground ball, third base. Johnson will go to second for the force. So a nice play by Howard Johnson as Hudler grounds to second, but the Cardinals squeeze in another run. Not with a squeeze. They did it legitimately. It's 6-5 after 7. We'll be back after this from
Tom Diedenfuhr has come in the ballgame for St. Louis. He has a record of no wins and 3 losses. He's had 1 save this year. He comes in with the Mets leading by a score of 6-5. Former Dodger pitcher, went from the Dodgers to Baltimore, then to Seattle, and now with St. Louis. Wearing Tom Seaver's number 41. Homerun average of 3. He's walked 11, struck out 19, given up 25 hits in 33 innings. Picked up his first save this year against Montreal. That was his first since 1988 with Baltimore. That was on June 16th.
Time release from the Seattle Mariners. He will be facing Kevin Elster, a pinch hitter for Jeff Ennis, and Keith Miller. Top of the 8th, 6-5 New York. Outside, ball 1 to Elster's. Had a good night. An RBI single in the 2nd, an inside the park home run in the 4th. That's right, an inside the Parker, and he walked in the 6th. So Kevin 2 for 2 with 2 RBIs. Strike on the outside corner. And Mark Carrion, even though this is not Spain 1936, it is nonetheless Franco territory, and that's who's warming up for the Mets. A slider and a beauty. Strike 2. There's John.
Viva la Franco. He's only blown 1 save this year.
Got his 13th last night. 1-2 to Elster. Another slider tapped over the head of Niedenfuhr. Ozzie Smith got him.
Well, Ozzie coming up and using that athletic ability to make the play look easy. And he gets him at first base with that quick toss.
The fans here in St. Louis have followed that yellow brick road for the last 10 years, where they have seen a remarkable athlete and shortstop, as Mark Carrion, pinch hitting for Jeff Ennis, fouls one off. Mark with a big home run in last night's game off John Tudor, a game in which the Mets won 3-2 in the 9th inning. 0-1 to Carrion. Outside, ball 1, 1-1 to Mark. Niedenfuhr, the 5th Cardinal pitcher of the night. Slider is low, 2 balls and a strike. On deck batter, Keith Miller. Mets trying to make it 8 in a row and 15 of their last 17. Two and 2 to Carrion.
Carrion with 1 pinch hit home run this year. Last year he had 4 to tie a Mets record. Club record is 6 pinch hit home runs in a career with the Mets. Ed Kranepool had 6.
Mark fouls one away. Still 2-2. Slider hit the center. McGee in and over and comes up and makes the catch. 2 outs.
Met fans help strike out hunger in New York. Team up with the Mets on Sunday, July 1st for our 8th annual Athletes Against Hunger Day food drive to help hungry New Yorkers. Representatives will be at Shea Stadium gates to help collect the food, which will be distributed to needy families in the New York area. So bring your cans of food to Shea on Sunday, July 1st, and help the Mets strike out hunger in New York.
Keith Miller fouls one back. 0-1 to Keith. Books closed on Jeff Ennis. He worked an inning and a third, giving up 2 hits, 1 run, walking 1, and striking out nobody. Six to 5, New York on top here in the 8th inning as John Franco prepares to enter the game in the bottom of the 8th. Check swing, foul ball. No balls, 2 strikes to Miller. Still 0-2. Tim McCarver along with Ralph Kiner here from St. Louis, Missouri. Second game of a 3-game series. The Mets have won 7 in a row, 14 of 16. About 34,000 on hand tonight. Ball and 2 strikes to Miller.
This has been one of the great franchises in baseball history, having drawn over 3 million people several times. The attendance off, obviously, because of the Cardinals' dismal start. But give them a competitive team and they'll be back.
2-2 to Miller. Slider is low. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Keith 0 for 2. He had a sacrifice fly in the 6th inning, and he walked and scored a run in the 1st. In there because of stomach cramps to Greg Jeffries, who would normally start at second base. Lined sharply, but Smith again. That ball took off one way. It kind of knuckled. And Smith eventually dived for it and made the catch. Realized that this copyrighted telecast is authorized under television rights granted by the New York Mets solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, or use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the New York Mets and Sterling Doubleday Enterprises LP and WWOR-TV is prohibited. Any commercial or other use of the program, such as by charging admission for its showing, similarly prohibited.
So you took it on, huh?
Yeah, I was trying to get your attention then.
You got it. I like also.
Yeah, me too.
Well, John Franco, the new pitcher for the Mets, 3-0 in the year with 13 saves. His earned run average 1.61. He's walked 6, struck out 25, given up 20 hits in 28 innings. So the Mets stopper is in there as the Mets lead it by a score of 6-5. The leader in the National League in saves is Dave Smith of the Houston Astros. He has 15.
Vince Coleman will lead it off here in the bottom of the 8th inning. A squeaky lead for the Mets. Bobby Thigpen of the White Sox. The remarkable story this year, those White Sox. This one hit to right center. Boston on the run. And Ralph Kiner said something about 2 innings ago when Boston struck out with runners at second and third. Talking about defense, and that's why Boston was left in there, and he tracks one down off Coleman. 1 out.
Oh, he got a great jump on this one as he is smiling after that catch, and should be. He was off and running at the crack of the bat, and he puts it away. There you see him in center field, and there he goes.
That's a nice touch. You really had an idea about what kind of jump Darrell got on that ball, and it was a good one. 1 out. McGee now. He's 1 for 4, and he fouls one off. Bobby Thigpen with 24 saves for the White Sox. Dennis Eckersley 23. And the remarkable Doug Jones of the Indians with 21 saves. Inside, ball 1 to McGee, 1-1.
You know what's remarkable about the differences in the American and the National League? The National League is hitting for a higher average than the American League with the DH. It's never happened before.
2 balls and a strike to McGee. Ground ball up the middle. It's going to get through for a base hit. So McGee with a hit up the middle, and that's going to bring up the very dangerous Pedro Guerrero.
Well, the Cardinals keep coming at you with those singles bouncing through the infield. That's the type of ball club they have. Beat it and run. And now the one power hitter they have in the lineup, Pedro Guerrero, and a chance to put them up.
12 hits tonight for the Cardinals. Only 1 extra base hit. That a double by Terry Pendleton in the 3rd inning. So they have 11 singles and 1 double. Guerrero 1 for 4. He has scored a run. Inside, ball 1. Guerrero has been remarkably consistent throughout his career. Career batting average of .308 against left-handers and .307 against right-handers. Guerrero with his cap off. Sasser with his mask off. Pulley with his mask off. Frank, the home plate umpire. Very hot, muggy night here in St. Louis. On the outside corner, strike 1. 1-1 to Pedro Guerrero. Guerrero steps out. .65 Mets. Potential tying run on base in the person of Willie McGee. And there he goes, and he was picked off. That one step cost him, and Magadan makes the tag. Boy, I've got to think with Pedro Guerrero up there and Zeile to follow, Willie McGee picked off is not a good play.
Well, he makes a break for second as Franco goes over there, and he's dead. He knows he can't get back. Now he tries to decoy Magadan. Magadan makes the tag.
Boy, these Cardinals have really been playing poor ball defensively and on the bases. Milt Thompson trying to make a catch tonight with 2 outs and Elster batting. The pitcher coming up The Cardinals led 4-3 at the time. There's Milt. And the ball got by him, and Kevin Elster had the first inside the park home run in 6 years by the Mets. That tied it at 4. The Mets went ahead in the 6th and have yet to yield that lead. They lead 6-5 with 2 out and nobody on now. And the count 1-1 to Guerrero. Line drive to right field, but Darryl Strawberry is there and he makes the play. So Franco does the job in the 8th. It's 6-5 Mets after 8, and we're back after the 9th inning. 6-5 Met lead. The Mets with 1 in the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Then they scored 2 in the 6th. Cardinals scored 2 in the 2nd and 2 in the 3rd, and then 1 in the 7th inning. It's 6-5 New York. Cardinals have out-hit the Mets 12-10. As Dave Magadan takes ball 1. Magadan 1 for 2. He has walked a couple of times, singled, and struck out. Ball 2. Tom Niedenfuer, the 5th Cardinal pitcher of the night. Mets trying to get some insurance runs here in the 9th inning for John Franco.
Niedenfuer, the only pitcher in this game that has retired the silent order.
Inside, ball 3. 3-0 to Magadan, leading off the 9th inning. Strike 1, 3-1.
Niedenfuer's wife is singer-actor Judy Landers. They make their home in Beverly Hills, California.
Line drive, base hit, right center. Thompson over to field it. Magadan stops at first base. And the Mets have their leadoff runner here in the 9th inning. Folks, after every game this season, points will be awarded to Mets pitchers for the AT&T Long Distance Award. If you're familiar with our broadcast, you know how it works. For every inning pitched, you get a point. We'll also add in the fractions. If a pitcher is credited with a complete game, he gets a bonus point. Then at the end of the season, the man on top will win the AT&T Long Distance Award. $10,000 to the winner's favorite charity. Niedenfuer is facing a tough batter here in Howard Johnson. Niedenfuer throws everything hard. Johnson a fastball hitter, and he takes a slider inside, ball 1. Ball 2 to Johnson. Ken Daly is warming up now with Darryl Strawberry coming up. Johnson in a favorable hitting position with 2 balls and no strikes on him. And here comes Whitey Herzog. Whitey may make a double switch here. He might be also.
He's going to turn,
giving Frank Pulley a chance, and also giving Ken Daly a chance to warm up.
He's going to turn Johnson around. Johnson doesn't swing as well right-handed as he does left because of that bad shoulder. Daly coming in this game with the disadvantage of the count being 2 balls and no strikes.
And a runner at first and nobody out. So Dave Collins is going to go into the game. Guerrero is coming out of there, and the reason for that is Guerrero made the last out. So if the Cardinals score in the bottom of the 9th, Guerrero is not going to be a factor anyway. It's impossible. The big thing is to hold the runner down or hold the...
1 win and 1 loss. He's had 1 save. Homerun average of 2.55, 9 walks, 20 strikeouts, 24 hits, and 24 2/3 innings.
Working to Howard Johnson with the count 2 balls and no strikes. Dave Maganin at first. Nobody out here in the 9th inning. The Mets on top 6-5. Ground ball towards short. It's not that easy, is it? 1 pitch, double play. 2 outs.
Second double play turned by the Cardinals in the game here tonight. And that'll bring up Darryl Strawberry. So Whitey Herzog looking like a genius.
Well, he's given his team every chance to win with the players he has. That's why he's a good manager. Strawberry 2 for 3 on the night. Strike 1.
And who will ever forget Strawberry's 11th inning home run off Daly? It hit the clock back in October of 1985 to win a ball game 1-0 for the Mets. In that game, the Ron Darling started.
1-1 to Darryl.
Here's where it hit, right there at that 10:58.
It was 10:44 at the time, however.
Was it?
I think it was 10:44. 2 balls and a strike to Strawberry. Gives you an idea of how far that is. Clint Hurdle's great line. Took a licking and kept on ticking. 2-1 to Darryl Strawberry, and this one hit like a bullet, fielded by Hudler. And the Mets are down, and I guess you could say that for the 9th inning, Ken earned his day here 6-5. It will be a short trip. They end it tomorrow night. Frank Viola against Joe McGrain. And then back for 4 games against the Redlegs this weekend. Still seats available for every game. Should be an exciting weekend at Shea Stadium. A ball and no strikes to Todd Zeile. You're watching Mets Baseball 90 on WWOR-TV, Secaucus, New Jersey. Inside to Zeile, 2-0. Johnson on the line at third base, and properly so. Zeile has some pop. He has 7 home runs on the year. This one hit deep to left field. Back is McReynolds, and this game is tied up 6-6.
Todd Zeile with his 8th home run of the year, and it's a big one. His first ever hit against the New York Mets. He had been just 3 for 19 against the Mets, and it ties the ball game at 6.
Terry Pendleton now the batter, and it's outside from Franco. So the book is closed on Ron Darling. He gets a no decision. Only the 2nd home run given up all year by Franco, and this one ripped to left, a base hit. Franco has not lost a game. And let's take a look at how John felt about this.
Well, it's a fastball right down the middle, and Zeile gets all of it. Franco knew it was gone the minute he threw it. In the other game that he had a blow-in save, he gave up a home run in that one.
That was to Kevin Bass in Candlestick, and that tied the game, an 8th inning homer. Milt Thompson will be up there to bunt in all probability. Throw to first, and Pendleton back. And the bunt's a good one. Franco will have to go to first, and he does, to just get Thompson. So the sacrifice successful. Potentially the winning runs at second, and Ozzie Smith the batter. You remember that double switch we were talking about? Collins going in for Guerrero. If the Mets walk Ozzie Smith, they will face Dave Collins, who went into and hit in the number 8 hole. I think I would make somebody off the bench beat me than Ozzie Smith.
Well, Collins a veteran ball player, but Ozzie Smith, a tough man to strike out.
You got Collins and Hudler as opposed to Smith and Collins. I got to put Smith on. Harrelson pitching to Ozzie. It's a tie ball game. Bottom of the 9th inning. 1 out. Inside, ball 2.
You'd like to get Ozzie Smith to hit the ball in the air, but Franco's a ground ball pitcher.
Well, that's what he does. He pops it up, and Dade Magadan makes the play. So Smith is out of there. Collins is going back for a pinch hitter. How about that? So Collins going back for a pinch hitter, and Craig Wilson coming up. So the wheels turning here. The Mets still have Tim Tuffle. They have Greg Jeffries, who missed the game because of stomach cramps, and they have Orlando Mercado. But all 3 of those players would be considered moot, obviously, if the Cardinals win it. But if they tie it, the advantage would go to the Mets. Cardinals are almost out of pitchers. They've had 6 pitchers in this game.
Wilson 1 for 5 as a pinch hitter with 1 run batted in. Wilson, the pinch hitter against Franco in the 9th inning of yesterday's ball game, flied out to center field.
Ball is low, a ball and no strikes to Craig Wilson. Two outs, 1 on, tie game here in the 9th inning. Ball 2 to Wilson. On deck batter, Rex Hudler. We're in the 9th inning of a tie ball game. Craig Wilson, a 20th round selection by the Cardinals back in 1984. Was up briefly last year, only 4 at bats.
Made his major league debut against the Mets on September 7th at Shea as a pinch hitter.
2 balls, no strikes to Craig Wilson. Way outside and low, 3-0. Straight balls to Craig Wilson. And that'll send up Rex Hudler. The only man left for the Cardinals is Tom Pagnazzi. So Rex Hudler is the batter. He has grounded out 2 times tonight, entering the game as a pinch hitter, actually as a double switch back in the 6th inning. 2 on, 6-6 game here in the 9th. High, ball 1. There's a strike, 1-1 to Hudler. Franco has worked 1 2/3 thus far, walking 1, striking out no one, and giving up 3 hits. The big blow, a home run by Todd Zeile to tie it here in the 9th. Hudler swinging errantly at a fastball outside, a ball and 2 strikes to Rex. He swings and misses, and the ball goes in the dugout, and Pendleton has to stop at 3rd. So the ball in the dirt on the 3rd strike gets away from Sasser. The first strikeout for Franco, and how about that? A wild pitch with Hudler at first base.
And that loads up the bases. The ball in the dirt. It bounces away from Sasser. Hudler not even close to hitting the ball. Totally fooled by the pitch, and Sasser can't block it in front of him. And he goes into the dugout. So now the winning run is at 3rd base with Vince Coleman coming up.
Coleman on the night 2 for 5. He has a couple of stolen bases. The bases are loaded, 2 outs. What makes it particularly dangerous in Coleman's case is he can run so fast. The Mets, on the other hand, have a play at any base. Did he go too far? No, says Ed Rapuano, the first base umpire. It's 1 ball and no strikes to Vince Coleman.
Looking at it again, Coleman starts a swing and doesn't break his wrist, so the call, no swing by the first base umpire.
Fly ball, right field, foul territory. Miller giving chase. And he caught it. Keith Miller remarkably made a catch that nobody thought he could get to. Crashing into the wall. Oh, baby. What a brilliant play by Keith Miller. But the Cardinals tie it, stranding the bases full. In this game through 9, the Cards have stranded 13. It's a 6. Keith Miller on a spectacular play. He makes contact, ball in glove, and then he makes contact with the fence, and the ball pops out right there. See the ball? And it came back into the glove of Keith Miller. And here's Ralph Kiner to take you through the extra innings. Oh, baby, what a play.
Here's another angle of this catch. Ball popping out, and then he catches it right there. Kevin McReynolds leading off with the Mets, and the first 2 pitches are strikes, and it's strike 2. McReynolds with a double and 4 at-bats. There have been 25 hits in this ball game, 12 runs scored. The Cardinals with 14 of the 25 hits. Ken Daly, the pitcher, and this ball hit hard right at the second baseman Oquendo, and 1 away. Make that Wilson, and 1 away. So McReynolds back to the bench, and that'll bring up Darrell Boston. Mets are playing their 7th extra inning ball game. They have won 3 and lost 3. The Cardinals are playing their 8th, and they have won 5 and lost 2. Darryl Boston in this game with 2 hits and 4 at-bats. He has a bunt base hit and a single. And the first pitch for ball 1. Mets with a 7-game winning streak, and it looked like it was going to be 8 until Todd Zeile hit that home run to tie it in the 9th inning. Boston looks, and the fastball for ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Zeile with a record of 1-1. This ball hit hard, and what a play by Collin. Make that Rex Hudler making a fantastic play as he moves from second base to first.
Well, I'll tell you, 2 balls hit like bullets, and this ball would have been at least a double, maybe 3. What could have been a game-saving play by Rex Hudler. Boy, that was seen some fine plays defensively.
And that'll bring up Mackey Sasser. Sasser 2 for 4, and he takes the first pitch high for ball 1. Daly, the 6th pitcher used by Whitey Herzog. The Mets have used 4 in the ball game at 6-6. And this ball hit hard, but it's fouled on the right side. Mets led 1-0 after 1. After 1.5, they led 2-0. The Cardinals tied it with 2 in the 2nd. Mets got a run in the 3rd to lead 3-2. The Cardinals took the lead with 2 runs in the 3rd to make it 4-3. The Mets tied it in the 4th at 4-4. Then took a 2-run lead in the 6th, leading 6-4. And then the Cardinals with a run in the 7th and a run in the 9th to tie it. And the fastball high. 2 balls, 1 strike. And the time blow, the home run by Todd Zeile off of John Franco. Mets have action going in their bullpen. Here's the 2-1 pitch to Sasser and the strike call. 2-2. Alejandro Pena throwing in the bullpen for the Mets. Franco has not worked more than 2 innings since he joined the Mets. The 2-2 pitch by Daly, a fastball hit in the air to center field. McGee is there. And that will end the inning. A 1-2-3 inning for Daly, and we go down to the bottom of the 10th. The ball game tied at 6. And here's a word from the 9X Yellow Pages.
A legendary crime fighter.
Tracy calling Sam Ketchum.
Ketchum to Tracy. Come in, Tracy.
Faces the world's most dangerous criminals.
There's nothing gonna stop me, nothing. Not even Dick Tracy.
In a style that is uniquely Tracy.
I'm gonna take you downtown whether you like it or not. You rat, you. Now get over there and revive Sam Ketchum before I forget that a policeman never fires his gun except in self-defense.
Ralph Bird is Dick Tracy. Thursday night at 8 on Channel 9.
New battery for the New York Mets.
Alejandro Pena is the pitcher, and Pena with a 1-2 record, a 4.99 earned run average. This for Pena is his 22nd appearance, and Orlando Mercado is the catcher, and the reason that's made is Franco is not going to go more than 2 innings of work, and you want to make a double switch here, and Mercado is batting 9th. And the pitcher, Pena, is batting 7th.
And Pena will be working to Willie McGee as his first batter. McGee 2 for 5 in this game. After McGee, it will be the pitcher Ken Daly, and Daly will probably bat in this game if McGee doesn't get on. He would bat and bunt if he did get on. But Daly, a good hitter. And Pena's first delivery. Fastball fouled away.
Each team with a relief pitcher left. The Mets have Wally Whitehurst left. And the Cardinals have Lee Smith left. Now, you could have a starter if the game goes another 4 or 5 innings. You could have a starter that goes in to help out. We haven't gotten to that point yet, however.
Mere speculation.
It's not mere speculation. It's speculation.
And a ground ball for the out. Keith Miller making the assist. And that'll bring up Daly. Daly will also bunt to try and get on. He's a very good athlete. A good hitting pitcher.
He doesn't get to hit that often.
No.
Not as a short reliever.
And he takes the first pitch for ball 1.
He really is a good athlete, though.
He's been up one time. He has not had a base hit. Todd Zeile, the on-deck batter, and a swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bottom of the 10th inning. Zeile, the man who tied it up on the home run of the 9th. And the fastball for a ball, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. 11 pitchers used in this game. Cardinals have used 6. The Mets have used 5. And this pitch is swung on and fouled back out of play. Ron Darling lost a chance to pick up his 3rd win against 4 losses when Zeile tied it up in the 9th. The Mets had taken the lead with 2 runs in the 6th, but the Cardinals with a run in the 7th and that home run in the 9th tied it. And this pitch by Pena, a split finger fastball for ball 3, and it's a full count. Long drawn out battle between the Mets and the Cardinals. Mets have won the first 3 against the Cardinals this year. The 3-2 pitch by Pena. And it's popped up in foul territory and out of play. So Daly spoils the pitch and gets another shot at it. Pena acquired from the Dodgers. Again, the 3-2 pitch. And again, it's foul. Cincinnati defeated San Francisco in an extra inning ball game tonight. And a swing and a miss. So Daly is struck out. 2 men away. And it brings up the hero for the Cardinals, Todd Zeile, whose home run as the leadoff batter in the 9th tied the game at 6. Zeile 1 for 4 in the game, but the big blow, the home run, his first ever against the Mets, his 8th this year. He's now tied for the club lead in home runs with Pedro Guerrero. And the curveball for ball 1. Zeile has scored 3 runs in this game. He reached on an error and scored on a wild pitch. He also walked and scored on an RBI by Milt Thompson. And his home run, of course, in the 9th inning. ball, no strikes to count as Pena works here in the 10th inning with 2 men out. And the breaking ball, a called strike, and it's 1-1. Zeile geared for the fastball on that one, fooled by the curve. The 1-1 pitch by Pena. Again, a breaking ball. It's popped up into shallow right field. Miller over, also Magadan, and Magadan in foul territory makes the catch, and we go to the 11th. 1-2-3 inning for Pena. The score at the end of 10. The Mets 6 and the Cardinals 6. Now here's a word from Busch Beer. Top of the 11th inning, and coming back in, Tim McCarver.
All right, Ralph. Kevin Elster leads it off for the Mets. Kevin with a good night. An RBI single in the 2nd inning, an inside the park home run. His first of his career, and the last inside the park home run, Darryl Strawberry in this ballpark off Bruce Sutter 6 years ago. Elster 2 for 3. He's also walked and grounded out. Mets last scored in the 6th inning, and they put up a 2-spot. They scored in each of the first 4 innings and had the lead until the bottom of the 9th when Todd Zeile started it off with a home run off John Franco. Ken Daly, the 6th Cardinal pitcher, and the curve for a strike. 0-1 to Kevin Elster. Ron Darling and John Franco still out there. You don't see that too often. Pitchers staying out. Extra innings. 1-1 to Elster.
You like to see that, though.
David Cohn winning last night's ball game, his 3rd consecutive win. 1-1 to Kevin Elster. Outside corner, strike 2. A ball and 2 strikes to Kevin. Outfield of the Cardinals deeper than normally because they're trying to ward off the double. Probably too deep in right field is Milt Thompson. Tapper. Daly to first base. 1 out. And Orlando Mercado will be the batter. His first trip tonight. He was inserted by Bud Harrelson at the bottom of the 10th in the double switch that included his battery mate Alejandro Pena. Orlando batting .212. He does have a couple of home runs. Orlando Mercado. He held up in time. Ball and no strikes to Mercado. This one foul away. 1-1.
Here's a news release. The Oakland Athletics team have called a press conference for 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time Wednesday and are expected to announce the signing of star outfielder Jose Canseco to a multi-year contract that will make him the highest paid player in baseball.
That'll be 4 o'clock New York time. Another one fouled back. A ball and 2 strikes to Mercado.
Oakland general manager Sandy Alderson confirmed that Canseco has agreed to a multi-year contract but did not reveal how much the deal was worth. The contract is believed to be for 5 years and worth more than $20 million. Canseco is currently playing with a 1-year contract worth $2 million.
Curve is low. 2-2 to Mercado.
He was eligible to become a free agent after the 1991 season. Mattingly is currently the highest paid player, signing a 5-year contract worth $19.6 million before the start of the season.
Mercado down on strikes, 2 outs here in the 11th inning. Those White Sox winning again, 9-1 over California. They've won 5 in a row. Athletics worried about them. Keith Miller now. We're in the 11th inning, a 6-6 ball game. The Mets were leading 6-5 in the 9th, and Todd Zeile, the Cardinal catcher, tied it with a home run off John Franco, the second blown save of the season for John. Ball and no strikes to Miller. Daly must be throwing well. Right-handers are fouling it off the other way. 1-1. Way out in front. He was walking the dog on that one.
We see Miller totally off balance as he moves like it's going to be a fastball. And the off-speed pitch just totally got him out in front.
See, walking the dog, how the dog takes the leash.
Pulls you right with it.
Yeah, right. Ball and 2 strikes to Keith Miller. Curve low, 2-2. Ball 3-2. Busch Stadium, St. Louis, Missouri, the house that Fred Bird built. Dave Magadan on deck. Fastball foul back. Still 3-2.
4-hour ball game, but when you think about the other side of the coin, this could be tomorrow on getaway day. Mets returning to New York after the game tomorrow night.
Line drive up the middle, base hit. That ball in the earlier innings may have been caught, but because the outfield was so deep, Miller has a single, and up comes Dave Magadan.
High fastball. Miller sort of fights it off, hits it up near the trademark, and gets a base hit to center field. Now he's a threat to steal, and he's 10 for 10 in stolen bases.
Daly with a good move. You just mentioned the game 4 hours old, and it certainly is. They say baseball's a game without a clock, but there's always the time of the game in the box score. High, ball 1 to Magadan. Dave 2 for 3, 2 walks, strikeout. He's been on base 4 times this evening.
The Mets once played a game in 1964 that lasted 7 hours and 23 minutes. So we got a record to go for.
I would hope to be with you. Mike Rourke now out to talk to Ken Daly.
Only 3.5 hours more to go.
So it's a game with a clock, though. If they include the attendant, I mean, if they include the time of the game in a box score, it's a game with a clock. It's a game not ruled by a clock, like football or basketball.
You can't run out of time. Even if there's a curfew.
Oh, you'd run out of time. Oh, yes, you can. We all run out of time.
Yeah, I mean the ball game.
Oh. Whitey Herzog still has Lee Smith available. Bud Harrelson has Wally Whitehurst available. 2 balls, no strikes to Dave Magadan. And it's a strike, a fastball, 2-1.
There's no way you're going to see Smith that I can see, unless it would be way down the line, unless the Cardinals, you're not going to see him. Cardinals get ahead, that's all over. Daly's in there for a while. Smith pitched in last night's ball game.
Daly's working in his 3rd inning right now. Outside corner, 2-2 to Dave Magadan. Good speed. It's 3-2, 2 outs. Hudler will move behind Miller at first base. So if Magadan hits a long single or a short double, Chuck Hiller, the 3rd base coach, may attempt to score Miller. 6-6, we're in the 11th. And Daly steps off. There goes Miller. Fastball fouled away. We'll do it again. Both teams obviously weary, plodding through to try to score 1 run. Still 3-2 to Magadan, 2 outs, 6-6 here in the 11th inning. 12 hits for the Mets, 14 for the Cardinals. Fastball, line drive, base hit, left field. Miller's going to try to go to 3rd. The throw, not in time. So Magadan with a hit to left, Miller a diving slide at 3rd, runners at 1st and 3rd, 2 out, and Howard Johnson coming up.
Well, the runner going with the pitch allows him to go over to 3rd base, even though the ball is hit sharply to the left fielder Coleman. Coleman with 5 assists on the year, throws to 3rd. Magadan does not take advantage of the throw going to 3rd as he holds at 1st base. Miller knows he can make it. You got to make it.
So Miller, you can look at his uniform and tell what kind of night he's had. He has been on base 3 times. You can look at Dave Magadan's uniform on the other hand, and it's perfectly clean. And Magadan's been on base 5 times. Howard Johnson. Line drive, base hit, left center. That's going to score Miller. Here comes Magadan. He'll round 3rd. And he'll score. Johnson to 3rd. He's going to be out, but the Mets scored 2 runs on a clutch double by Howard Johnson. 3 hits. Both runs coming with 2 outs after 10.5 innings of play. It's the Mets 8 and the Cardinals 6, and we're back after this from Midas.
Mets baseball. It's giving your all. It's pushing it right to the edge. And Manufacturers Hanover Trust joins in the spirit with the card you'll be proud to use, the Mets MasterCard. It's like any other MasterCard, only better. Because each time you use it, you show your colors. So get your Mets MasterCard from Manufacturers Hanover and let them know who you are. To apply, call 1-800-MHT-METS.
Well, with 2 men out, it started innocently when Keith Miller got a 3-2 base hit, followed by Magadan's base hit to put runners at first and third. This line drive up the alley by Johnson scores 2 runners. The relay throw from McGee goes to Smith. He drops the ball so Magadan can score. And Smith then picks it up and throws out Johnson at third. Not a good running play by Johnson, but certainly a great hit by Johnson as the Mets take a 2-run lead. They might have had a play on Magadan at the plate if Smith had not dropped the relay throw.
So Howard Johnson with a key 2-out double in the 11th. Here's Terry Pendleton leading it off in the bottom of the 11th, and he fouls one back off Alejandro Pena. Pendleton's done everything tonight. He has been on base 4 times. He is 4 for 5, 2 RBIs, and 2 runs scored. High, ball 1, 1-1 to Terry Pendleton. Mets trying to keep pace with Montreal and Pittsburgh. They both won tonight. Foul back, a ball and 2 strikes to Pendleton.
Pittsburgh beating the Phillies 1-0, and Montreal with a comeback win over the Cubs. Cincinnati defeated San Francisco. San Diego won their ball game to keep pace with Cincinnati. They're now 10 games back in second place. San Francisco 11 out. The Dodgers lost. They're now 11.5 out. Atlanta defeated the Dodgers.
Way outside and high, 2-2 to Pendleton. Mets 8, the Cardinals 6. The Mets trying to beat the Cardinals for the 4th time this year. Each side with 14 hits. Sharp play by Johnson. Base hit. Pendleton, his 5th base hit of the night. And that's a career high. 5 hits now for Terry Pendleton on the evening.
Now, like you said earlier, Pendleton just seems to wear the Mets out. And he puts the Cardinals in a position to tie the ball game or go ahead as the tying run is now at the plate with no one out as he gets his 5th hit.
And Magadan's holding Pendleton on at first base.
That run means nothing.
With the left-handed hitter up, just got to be playing behind him right now. There's no other way to play it. Some baseball situations you can do it differently. You're in the bottom of the 11th inning and you're holding a runner on with a 2-run lead? No way. And Pena's throwing over there.
The only thing that counts is the batter at home plate. He represents the tying run.
High, ball 1 to Thompson. You can say, well, you want to keep him close to force at second base. It's just not worth the risk. You're trying for an out here. You don't care how. And by holding him on, you lessen the chance of getting an out with Thompson batting a left-handed hitter. Inside and low, ball 2.
The only thing that you could really benefit from would be the double play, but Thompson's almost impossible to double up. He has that great speed out of the box.
Take it from a standpoint of a bunt. If a bunt's in order, then you play in the line and you play 4 feet off of first. No way you'd be holding him on right now. 2-0 to Thompson. Inside, ball 3. So Pena, who has not won a game all year for the Mets, is in trouble again. I beg your pardon, he has won 1 game. That back against the Astros on the 6th of May. So it's 3-1 to Thompson. Nobody out. Pendleton at first. Swing and a miss at ball 4. 3-2 to Thompson.
Well, that was a big help there. Right here, a high fastball, and that is ball 4. But it puts the count at 3-2.
There goes Pendleton, and Thompson fouls it back.
And that's another reason why he should be playing off the bag.
Going to run anyway.
Got to get the hitter. He is the time run.
I don't know if
that means nothing.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd send the runner in this situation.
Yeah, you might get double off the line drive.
Right. And as you said, you're not going to double Thompson anyway. And Pena is throwing to first.
Oh, I don't understand this. Your concentration has got to be at home.
Three and 2 to Thompson. Nobody out. There goes Pendleton, and Thompson fouls it back. The Mets are up by 2, and you would think they were up by 1 by what everybody's doing. There goes Pendleton. Fastball grounded towards second. Tough play. Miller got him.
Boy, what a play. Miller, a good defensive infielder. And the only way you're going to make this play is to charge it and get to it. And fortunately for him, he was able to, with his speed, to get it on the high hop. Otherwise, he has no chance to make the play at first. And he makes a great play and a good throw. So they pick up the important man, and Pendleton now at second, but his run doesn't mean a thing.
Infielders reminding the outfielders, throw the ball to second base. There is no play for Pendleton at home. None. Any ball hit to the outfield, regardless of its rapidity, should be thrown to second base.
You can't say it enough if you're on the field and playing, because you can't make that mistake.
Outside corner to Ozzie Smith. Ozzie is hitless, but he's only 0 for 2 because he's walked a couple of times, once intentionally, and drove in his 22nd run of the year in the 7th with the sac fly. 8-6 Mets. 1 out here in the 11th inning. Fouled away. 0-2 to Ozzie. Left field and playable. McReynolds in, and he makes the play. 2 outs. Last chance for the Cardinals coming up. It'll be Craig Wilson, the second baseman, who pinch hit for Dave Collins, the first baseman, back in the 9th inning. The number 8 spot for the Cardinals has had 4 different players tonight. Jose Oquendo, Dave Collins, Dennis Walling, and Craig Wilson. High, ball 1 to Wilson. The Mets trying to keep the Redbirds blue. They lead at 8-6 with 2 outs and 1 on here in the 11th. Ball 2 to Craig Wilson. There's a strike, 2 balls and a strike to Wilson. 29 hits in this game. Only 3 extra, make that 4 extra base hits, 3 by the Mets. Make that 5 extra base hits, 2 by the Cardinals, 3 by the Mets. This one foul back, 2-2 to Craig Wilson. The Cardinals down to their last strike.
Franco and Darling still on the bench.
Outside and low, and it was very close. 3-2 to Wilson. Strikes. That was ball 4, and the young Craig Wilson swings at what would have been ball 4. A bitterly fought contest. The Mets finally winning 8-6, and the weary troops go out onto the field of battle to congratulate one another. 8 in a row now for the Mets. They have now won 15 of their last 17 games. Brother, tired just watching this game. 29 hits, only 1 error in the game. A couple of home runs. One an inside the park home run by Kevin Elster. The Mets win it 8-6. Alejandro Pena the winner. Ken Daly of the Cardinals the loser. The Mets have won 4 in a row against the Cardinals, and they remain 2 games behind the Pittsburgh Pirates. Ralph and I will be back with the close. Got our news coming up on WWOR back in New York. No news. We canceled the news, I understand. Okay. This game was so long, even the news was canceled.
We outlasted the news.
Yeah, we'll be back right after this from Nissan.
There's a house in Brooklyn where the morning sun shoots through the blinds, and you can smell the bacon and watch a little boy start to chase his dream. He studies the box scores in the daily news and scratches them into his brain. And then, like yesterday and the day before, he throws a rubber ball at a faded rectangle. He imagines the headlines in the daily news, Cy Young, MVP, and he throws again. And one day it's the bottom of the 9th, 2 outs. It's his name they're calling. And it's his picture on the sports page of the Daily News. John Franco still lives in Brooklyn, still chases his dreams, and still studies the box scores in the Daily News. New York's hometown paper.
Well, the Mets beat the Cardinals 8-6 for their 8th win in a row. The last time they won 8 in a row was back in 1988. And we're in a town where Budweiser's very popular, and our Budweiser player of the game this evening, Howard Johnson, with a game-winning double, driving in 2 runs in the top of the 11th inning off loser Ken Daly. Both Keith Miller and Dave Magadan scored. So Hojo, our Budweiser player of the game. Dave Magadan, by the way, on base 5 times with 3 hits and 2 walks. Terry Pendleton of the Cardinals had a great night. He was 5 for 6, 2 RBIs, 4 singles, and a double. The Mets prevail 8-6 over the Redbirds. Ralph?
And the Mets have won their 7th consecutive series, and they now have won 17 of their last 20 ball games. Mets baseball has been brought to you by Busch Light. It's the easiest drinking beer around, so make the easy choice. By Manufacturers Hanover, where your money has power. By Nissan, building cars for people who want more than just a means of getting from here to there. Nissan, built for the human race. By the 9X Yellow Pages. If it's out there, it's in here. By the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, the American way to play. By Tropicana, 100% pure juices. Tropicana, even more reasons why you can't pick a better juice. And by Mita, all we make are great copiers. Be with us again on Sunday when the Mets take on the Cincinnati Reds at 1:30 p.m. right here on WWOR-TV. Mets Baseball 90 is produced and directed by Jeff Mitchell. Associate producer, Steve Obach. The announcers on the preceding telecast were approved and contracted for by Sterling Doubleday Enterprises. The executive producer is Rick Miner. This has been a presentation of WWOR-TV Sports. So long, everybody. See you on Sunday when the Mets take on the Cincinnati Reds.
Baby, let me take you where the action is hot. Action, action park. We can ride the excitement and feel the park rock. Action, action park. The action never stops at Action Park.
Looking for a great place for the family this summer? Well, Action Park has 75 of the wildest, wettest family rides in the world just minutes away.
The action never stops.